All right, well, I guess that makes more sense now. What is up, beautiful people? It wouldn't be a Frosted Fist live stream if someone weren't muted at the beginning, right, guys? What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolf Brother, or in this case, the Waaagh Brother, Mythos Cushionata from the channel Frost and Fist. We're going to try this again, starting from the top. All right, guys, so it's good to see you tonight. This one's going to be a little bit different. Unfortunately, Freak is under the weather tonight, and I'm not going to talk about his business, but I do want to let you guys know it's not anything COVID related. It's not a major emergency. He is under the weather, though, with some health things going on. And if he wants to tell you about that later, he can. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. Thank you guys for letting me know that I was muted, because I was just going to keep rolling and rolling and rolling. But I appreciate you guys letting me know. Right off the bat, before we get started, I do want to give you guys an apology, because we had said this week we were going to do an all art week's art special this week, and unfortunately, because Freak is out ill, I don't really have the. We even had a pretty awesome guest scheduled for tonight, and unfortunately, because I don't really have the setup yet, or the layover or whatnot to have guests and stuff on. My streaming setup is not yet designed for that. Then, unfortunately, we're going to have to delay that again. But I promise you, we will get you a full art week coming up. But I am really excited to be hanging with you guys nonetheless. And I have been busy this week, and I'm just looking forward to getting in some more hobby, because I got so much stuff to talk about. Speaking of talking about, let's see who is in the chat. Who am I talking to tonight? We've got Jam Jar 34. What is up, my brother? Good to see you. We got the Smash Captain Archer. We've got Mini Warmutt. We've got Running Bear. So I got some pretty amazing people here. Lots of warnings that I have no sound, and I appreciate. I had a phone somewhere. I can hear my phone going. There we go. All right. And I've got people asking me if I'm streaming. So, streaming now. I haven't shared around to Facebook and all that, because I have to admit, I am a bit rusty doing the setting up part. So, it took me a little bit to remember exactly what buttons I needed to hit to get the stream going. And all that good stuff. So I was literally running into the last minute, or a little beyond the last minute. Hope he gets well soon. I definitely agree. I am doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Actually had a pretty chill week. Things have kind of slowed down at work. Knock on wood. I hope that it stays that way, because I've been hustling lately, and not hustling this week has given me some time to do some hobby, catch up some other stuff, like my new obsession, and we'll go into that in just a minute. So, first big news is this week, guys, for my hobby update. Check this out. Oh, I got my Prophecy of the Wolf. That came in Saturday. So, that is something I am excited. You can see it's still in its nice, shiny plastic wrap. Because what happens is, like many of us in the hobby, is once I get a new shiny in my hands, I kind of stop with the project I'm on, and then I end up with 50 million unfinished projects. So it's still in this plastic wrap, because I said I wanted to finish this first squad of Orc boys tonight. And, well, I mean, not tonight. I'm going to try and do as much as I can. But this weekend I'm going to try and finish them, and then I'm going to crack that open. Now, I could really use your guys' opinion on what I should do when I crack open that Prophecy of the Wolf box. Should the Wolf Brother get in there and immediately tackle Ragnar? That seems like a pretty cool project. And now it's going to be stupid busy. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll roll some six. Oh, man, that was a loud smack right there at the microphone. I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, so should I immediately get in there and tackle Ragnar, the wolfy part of the box that I'm keeping? Should I go in there with the Inceptors? Infiltrator type things? I think they're something. James Meeks, Gamecraft Dragon. Should I go in there and do the Wolfie part, the White Scars part, which are going to be the Primaris troops in there? Should I go in there and do the knobs and continue adding to my Green Tide? Or should I go straight for the big boss Ghazi right off the bat? That's a little intimidating, but if you guys think that's what I should do, I'll definitely do it. While you guys think about what I should do, let me show you what I have done. Like I said, I want to finish this squad of orc boys right here before I jump on that box. Oh, yeah, the Mega Knobs. The Mega Knobs are one of my favorite orc units. That's a really good idea. I like that vote, my brother. I like that vote. So this is what I've done so far. These guys in the back are the ones. So I've got 3 that are nice and even finished and based even. And I'm going to try and get on camera. If I can find the camera. What the heck? Right. Go back to OBS. There we go. So, this is the first orc boy I did on a nice jungly type base, kind of like that. So, I'm digging that. Some nice rusty weapons, nice and chipped away, like these weapons belong in a junkyard. So those are the 3 that are completed, based, and everything. They just need to be varnished. Then I've got 2 others back here. One, the Big Shooter. You can see I've done some work on some checker patterns. Big shout out to Grumpy Guy Gaming, who did a tutorial on 3 ways to do checker patterns. And the same rusty metal effect I've done on the weapons, I decided to go for on the orc boys' helms too. And I don't know, part of me is like, go for the artwork and do the helms black. Part of me likes that rusty metal effect. So I don't know if I'm going to keep that or if I'm going to change that to a black helmet. A couple more checker patterns here. Getting that goth theme on strong. These 5 right here are so close to being done. Just a few details. Like, I need a little red to break up this rusty metal weapon here. I need some silver for chipping the edges and the teeth of the saw. I need to go in and dot their beady red eyes. But so far, I'm really actually enjoying how these orcs are coming out. I'm pretty stoked, actually. And actually, I was really intimidated by doing all these checker patterns, but getting in some practice this week, I'm enjoying it. I didn't think I would. I thought the checker pattern was going to be a pain in the ass, but it's been all right. In fact, I could have just did the checker pattern on this guy's shoulder armor, but I even went and did it on his fist over here. Funny story. So, in the box of orcs I got from my brother, one of them was missing an arm, and I'm sure it's just, it might be at the bottom of the box somewhere. I might have just missed it. But one arm was missing, and I was going through, and of course I don't have any spare orky bits yet. I'm a brand new orc player, and so I'm like, I don't have any orky bits to fix this with. So I'm like, you know what? I do have a lot of spare Space Marine parts. So I grabbed one of these little small 30k power fists, and it seems to be pretty decent scale for the orc. And I'm like, I could see him looting this off the battlefield. So I put the arm on him. Seems to fit okay. And yeah, I put some of that goth checker pattern on the back of his fist. It kind of goes with this little narrative I'm building up in my head anyways. I'll give you guys just kind of a quick synopsis. So as a nod to my days of grinding PvP in WoW, I'm thinking about putting some wolf pelts on like my boss knobs and some of my HQ choices, and calling these goths the Frost Wolf clan, but clan with a K. And the idea behind that being, of course, that when it appeared as though Ragnar killed Gaz, some of the goths that were escorting him as a sign of respect for the biggest and strongest who was able to take down the boss. They kind of took up a wolfy theme. So anyways, checking out the chat here. Get the wolves done first. Okay, so I'm only taking one wolf out of Prophecy of the Wolf, which is going to be Ragnar. The troops, I don't feel like are wolfy troops. So they're going to go on my white scars. So if I'm doing wolves first, it's going to be Ragnar. I tried to do the jungle themed. I do like the jungle themed bases. Thank you very much. Are you using some aquarium plants? I guess, are aquarium-ish. They're actually from like the fake plant section at my local dollar store. And I think it was Family Dollar or Dollar General, one of those two. Or maybe even Dollar Tree. It was one of them. And yeah, they just had this little section with some decorative rocks and stuff like that. And the plastic flowers and stuff. Vases. And they had these spare plants there. And I grabbed them from there. Do the orcs first and use the wolves as a treat when the orcs are done. Nice. How did you do the black and white? It looks good. Can definitely refer you to my brother Grumpy Guy Gaming. And he had a couple ideas on there. He showed how to do a freehand, and these are the freehand way. I use freehand very loosely for my not so delicate brush control, but these aren't too bad for freehanding. Switch back over to my camera view. Yeah, it's not too bad for some freehanding. You know, from a mile or so away, they look like pretty convincing squares, right? But honestly, it was really, I hesitate to use the word simple, but honestly all I did was, you know, just basically I braced my arms against the desk, held it really still, took a really skinny brush, and just pulled it straight back towards my body all the way down, turned it sideways, pulled it straight back a couple more times to get my lines in, and then went back and filled it in. You guys are going to laugh when you see this janky brush here. But see, this old janky brush of mine, it used to be a chisel tip once upon a time, a long time ago. And this is actually a brush I got from one of my brothers. And it was already kind of hooked when I got it, but I kept it because it has a flat chisel tipped edge. And I don't know if that tip's going to show up very well on camera, but because it's got like a flat line for its edge, I thought it would be really nice to go in there and tidy up some of those straight edges on my squares. And I think they made pretty convincing squares. Like I said, if you squint one eye and you close the other and you look at it from real far away, they make pretty decently convincing squares. But I think having that flat edge of a very small chisel tip brush really helped. You said it helped me. All right, so I've got 2 votes to start with the orc part of the box first, and one specifically for the Mega Knobs, one for starting with the Wolf Ragnar himself. So I'm pretty interested to see where that goes. But that's what I've been up to this week, guys. I got these 10 guys pretty much painted. Like I said, no. Weather Pig has already been ambushed by the same spider twice today. That's it. That's it. Light the match. Drop it. Burn it all down. That's the only way to be sure. Ambushed by the same spider twice today. Jeez, was it a bad one anyways? Was it like one of those trap doors? You know, they say the fangs on there are strong enough to pierce a baby's skull. One more vote for Wolf, one more vote for Orcs. Wolf first, then the stuff for my scars. Okay. Got a pretty widespread vote tonight. It's pretty cool. Anyways, good to see you, Weather Pig, my man. Got some really, really cool people. So that is literally all I've been up to this week, aside from work, is just grinding away, trying to knock out these 10 boys. And honestly, guys, so I had one orc mostly painted by the time I saw you last week on stream. So to paint 10 boys in 1 week is a huge accomplishment for me, because I am not a speed painter. I am a slow painter. It takes me forever to knock stuff out, and getting 10 boys done in a week is huge for me. Of course, I owe a lot of that. We had our Patreon Wolf Lord hobby session last Saturday morning, and we sat down and knocked some hobby out for several hours. So getting to hang with some bros and do a Patreon paint chat, that was awesome time to sit there and get some huge amount of work done on my scars. Now, getting a crap ton of airbrushing now that I've got this little cordless compressor, that's pretty awesome. Archer got a little handheld compressor that just boop fits right at the bottom of his airbrush, and he can get it all done without being tied to a big compressor. It's pretty cool. Speaking of compressors, while we were on our hangout last weekend, and we were painting with some of our Wolf Lord tier Patreons and the Gamecraft Dragon and the Miniatures Paintbrush, you know, some of our brother channels here on the YouTubes. At the end of the airbrush session, and spoiler alert for like a 15-year-old movie, just like the end of the 13th Warrior, my compressor finished airbrushing the last orc, and then there was a strong smell of ozone, and then my compressor sputtered out and died while I was in the middle of cleaning it. Like, it finished the last orc, and then it sat down on its Viking throne and died there, you know, at the end of the battle. So, this baby, my compressor, served me faithfully for the last 4 years plus. She's finally gone. So, that was definitely sad and unfortunate. And I'm definitely... I really was like, man, I've kind of based my entire orc army here around, doing the dark colors for their armor and outfits and really bright, vibrant airbrush skin tones. So I was like, what am I going to do? Thankfully, though, because we do painting and stuff for the channel, Freak and I had a discussion, and thanks to our Patreon support, was able to take that bad situation and get us a serious upgrade in compressor. So thank you guys so much for all the help that you give us here on the channel. That is massive, and I'm definitely going to be able to get so much more painting in now that I still have this compressor to help help me get some painting in. I really appreciate that, guys. Oh man, Redbeard, good to see you, my man. He says it's party time. Thomas says snags Archer's portable airbrush and runs off. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking that sounds like a pretty cool idea myself.
Yeah, at least the baby compressor helped.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right. So, with that being said, like I said, I want to finish these 12 guys, and really, like I said, these guys just need detail and basing. So by tomorrow, I should have my first 10 boys for the new army all done. First squad, boom, ready to go. So I'm pretty excited about that. Well, the first squad will be mostly ready. Actually, I'm getting in some extra knobs so that way I can beef up the squad that I'm getting in Prophecy of the Wolf. But I'm going to take one and probably a couple other, because I know I'm going to need multiple troop choices. But some of them are going to be boss knobs. For, like, you know, my boys and stuff like that. So that squad will be complete, except for when I finally get a knob boss to put with them too. But yeah, pretty cool, guys. Daddy Archer paying the hobby bills. Absolutely. You know, I really appreciate you and all of our other patrons too. Thank you so much, brother. Smash Captain and all our other patrons coming in. As the great Kenny says, coming in clutch. Lady Dragon Creation says, greetings, my wolf brother. Greetings to you as well. My vote is orcs first, and then Ragnar as the reward. I mean, I can definitely see looking at Ragnar as the reward. That is some smart thinking, Lady Dragon. Hey, you actually did buy that Orc Space Wolf box for the orcs. Hey, yep. A lot, you know, it's funny. Because people were like, I thought you didn't like that box. I said the box wasn't wolfy, and I was mad about it not being wolfy. But I did say, man, I would so buy that box just for the orcs, and of course Ragnar. Let's not put dither about that. Obviously, Ragnar's a huge part of getting that box, but and Gazgul. I mean, how cool is that model? Now, paint brother, you right. I am running my mouth. Now, a couple of things here. First of all, I've never airbrushed on screen before, so this is going to be a new adventure. Secondly, this is a new compressor that I have not test fired yet. So, I'm going to have to see if the air pressure is any different than what I'm used to. And, I mean, who knows? This could be one of those nights where just because I'm doing it on camera, I'm going to have trouble getting my paint consistency, right, and all that good stuff. I'm going to try not to botch this, guys. I'm going to try not to roll ones here. But we shall see. And I'm going to try and run through how I airbrush my orcs. And if it turns out it's a if it's a successful live stream, who knows? I may even chop it up and make a tutorial out of it. I don't think I'm going to be that good, but at least this will give me an opportunity to paint and get some stuff done while I'm hanging out with you guys. I believe that link you're looking for, Brother Thomas, where you got the pocket-sized compressor, is from spraygunner.com. I've used them myself before. By the way, not sponsored, but it is a pretty awesome site that I can get some airbrush stuff from before. Funny thing is when Goobertown Hobbies did his tutorial on how to paint yellow, and he started with the pink primer and then moved on to the yellow, the internet went crazy and everybody bought out all the pink primer there was, and only going to spraygunner.com was I able to find some pink primers. That was pretty cool, and I want that to be the base for my Sisters of Battle. So, all right. With that being said, I'm going to try and get into this and see where we go. Hey, meh, Gaz is okay. Oh man, I think Gaz is a beautiful model, my man. Redbeard, my man, questioned in the chat: when do your dry brushes come out? Hey, I have a mistress. Her name is Amalin Shadow Guide. Oh, you like the elf lady from the Blackstone Fortress box. Congrats, by the way. I got in my Prophecy of the Wolf this week, but Brother Mini Warmutt got in his Blackstone Fortress box this week. Shameless Soul says, finally cataloged my orcs I had no idea I had so many knobs. I hear that a lot of people end up collecting more knobs in their orc collection than they intend to. They just wake up one day and they notice they've got way too many knobs in their collection. It's got too many knobs. Anyways, no such thing as too many for the Waaagh. Always part of the green tide, right? Still giddy about Blackstone Fortress. Nice. Thinking about building a game table now. Very cool. It's like never enough DACA. Never enough. Ever. Yeah, AdMech box is sold out thanks to the Flamer Face horses with that big iron Skitarii. Oh, man. I didn't know that those Flamer Face horses were coming out. Oh, right. Because they announced more people buying up the Start Collecting. I got you. I'm caught up with the class now. All right, guys. Shall I take my new compressor out for a spin? Well, am I going to remember how to airbrush my orcs? I mean, I've done 10 of them. But, like I said, I get nervous in front of the camera. Because, let's be honest, I mean, freakaliciousness is the airbrushing talent on the channel. I'm just the pretty face. So, I am nervous about, doing any airbrushing on the stream. But, what does my brother Rob over the TMP always say? To paint bravely. So, I'm going to attempt that tonight. Of course, he doesn't usually say paint bravely on screen in front of, a bunch of people. I'm pretty sure that's implied, though, right? I was about to say, is this going to be the moment I realize I'm out of Warpstone Glow? Jesus. Think there's still a little in there, though. So yeah, contrary, I know some people I've seen in a few tutorials, some people start with not War Boss Green, Waaagh Flesh, and some people start out with Caliban Green. But I actually start with the black primer and move straight to Warpstone Glow. That's the color of choice for me. But like I said, I like that nice, vibrant skin tone. Don't be nervous, baby. Nobody will see it but us. You right. You right. That's why you write down your recipe. I know the recipe. I just am not confident in my ability to duplicate it in front of other people. Archer says, can't count how many times I've cranked out a paint scheme on something. It came out great, but then forgot how I did it when I tried to recreate it later. All right, so this is going in straight with Warpstone Glow. Okay, and then because I'm not always super confident about my flow, I'm still learning trigger control as I do this, so I always start out on my glove. Also, I am not looking at my camera, so I have no idea whether or not I'm painting on screen. There we go. So I start with the black. I try to leave some black around the edges. And just slowly build up that color with the airbrush. By the way, if this comes out loud and annoying with the whistling sound on the microphone, I apologize. If you guys let me know whenever I get back to the screen where I'm looking at the comments, I will definitely mute myself the next time I go in here to spray. But I'm going to try not to do that because chatting with you guys is part of why we do the chat, right? Yep, absolutely. I always start on my glove or a towel, so that way the spatter always catches on the glove. You right? Always make sure to get underneath the jaw. It's funny, on one of my first ones, I forgot to do the underside of the jaw just because I was still trying to figure it out, right? And I got sidetracked and I forgot to do the under the jaw. And then when I started spinning the model around to paint him, I was just like, what have I done here? His neck is in the shadow, very in the shadow. He'll just be the no-neck of the orc community. It'll be fine. It was just on the one guy, too. Keep it on camera, Mythos. Keep it on camera. Alright, actually, it looks like we had just enough Warpstone Glow to get that base coat done. So that is what he's looking like right here. So right now it starts off kind of subtle. The Warpstone Glow is not super vibrant. I'm going to give that just a second to dry, and then I'm going to go in there with a second coat of Warpstone. Bring it up just a little bit greener. And checking the comments. Alright. Don't want all your orcs super green. Got to get some dark skin too. Shows they've been in battle. That's a good point. The artistic side of me just wants that vibrancy to contrast the dark clothes and armor, but I may have to take that into consideration. Lady Dragon says, well, I've learned something already. Push the trigger down, pull it back, let the paint fly. Absolutely. So that is a couple rules I've had to learn hard along the way, because I used to get a lot of dry tip problems, but and I was getting a lot of spattering on the model problems, and something Freak taught me that for some reason I never picked up in all the tutorials I'd watched, was to avoid spattering on the model, to always start it here on the glove or on a towel nearby. I always do my glove just because it's close to the model I'm working with, but I always do it on the glove. I push down for the airflow, and then I ease back the trigger. Also, because I had poor control with my trigger at first, I just used to accidentally slip back and just shotgun the trigger all the time. So doing it this way really helped me get into the rhythm of start the airflow, slowly ease back the trigger, find the paint to air ratio that I want. So that's been a really valuable tip for me. Freak's taught me a lot of airbrushing along the way, so I really try and keep everything he's taught me in mind when I'm working. Lupus Canis, thanks for joining, my man. Good to see you, brother. Heinrich Botha, good morning, brother. Come on, hit that thumbs up. Let people know you like it, please. Smash that like button in the name of the war boss. Not feeling great tonight, just listening. Hope you're doing well. Man, I'm sorry you're not feeling well, Running Bear, but I'm so glad to have you joining us tonight, man. And if you need to go get some rest, man, feel free to turn it off, and close them eyelids, get up on some of that rest. Jamjar says, not working tonight, so watching you, plus had too much sleep today. Body Clock says, go to the hobby kitchen and paint stuff. Then you listen to that Body Clock, man. It'd be awesome to have you working along with me from the hobby kitchen. Redbeard says, hose that orc down. Ross, we were just talking about that earlier. Lupus Canis got the box set, and probably going to paint the orcs first out of that, and only out of the wolf side, only Ragnar's going in my Space Wolf army. So Ragnar's probably going to be a treat to come after painting up some orcs, like a little reward. All right, going in for that second layer. Again, I don't know if it's going to translate super well on camera, guys, but so you can see I went down and I put down a pretty thin layer of the green, but you can see there's a little bit less, there's a little bit, some of that black showing through around the shoulders, around the underside of the arm, those areas that I want to be a little bit darker. But this next layer, I'm only going to be putting in some of the highlight areas that I'll be going in with the Necrotite green. And that's just because, I want to make a brighter surface for that highlight color to be on. So we're going to be way more selective about it this time. Oop. Ease back the trigger post. There we go. So I'm going to start with the top of the forehead. I'm going to avoid that back of the neck. I'm going to start with this shoulder here. That's going to catch a lot more of the light. I'm going to turn my model sideways. I'm going to make sure I cover up the bloody keyboard. Definitely don't want that slipping. Explain why I have paint particles all in my keyboards. Professional, guys. Professional. Ease up that trigger again. Good. I want to turn this sideways and come across that bicep. You guys can see it. That's not just a hideous mold line there. That is his veins. He's so buff and veiny. Not just a hideous mold line. If anyone's worried about my computer screen here, worry not. I've thought ahead because I wanted to paint like this live, and I have saran wrapped the computer screen. Again, turning the model sideways so I can come across that muscle there. And then I'm going to turn it sideways again and try and come across that elbow. Boom. Okay, the inside of the arm is a little bit more in the shadow, so I'm actually not going to bring too much of a highlight there, but where this really exposed part is close to the elbow, I'm going to hit it a little bit. But the rest of the inner arm, probably not too much. And that's it, guys. That was really just kind of prepping for my highlight layer. So anybody else do this? Anybody else keep like a junk bowl next to their desk just to dump out their paint water with their airbrush? So I'm going to rinse my warp stone glow with just a little bit of water. I'm going to leave the residue, the dirty paint water of the old color in. And next I'm going to pull out my favorite green in the world to work with. After taking a sip of precious lifeblood, I mean coffee. And go in. We're going to lean on the spacebar by accident. Just going with a little of that Necrotite green in there. Got some water already in there. And of course, there's the flow improver. And then of course, where would we all be without a couple of drops of flow improver? My favorite thing to thin down paints with. Woo! We're going to remember to tap our needle back into place. See that shotgun blast there? That's real professional. All right. But that's why I test on my gloves, because when I do stupid stuff like let the needle slip. Alright, easing back. Really want a light paint to air ratio. Alright, and we're going to go, again, a little bit on the top of the head. Boom. Shoulder. Again, really want to pick out that muscle. Boom, shoulder. Again, turn the model sideways. We're going to go across that bicep. Boom, bicep. Across that forearm muscle. Boom, muscles. Okay, we want to get that side of that tricep. Boom. Okay, get across that forearm muscle. Real gentle. Boom. That color balance is not picking that up that great, which I apologize for. Alright, and then that one spot on the inside of the elbow. Boom. Alright. So, next thing I'm going to do, it's my favorite part. I really feel like this helps the orc pop. Is I'm going to make sure I've got very soft paint to air ratio. And I'm going to go directly across the center of the face, right across the nose. I'm going to drop my painting handle because it's looking pro. Across the nose. And I really feel like drawing that highlight, that attention to the center of the face, really gives them a real extra sense of vibrancy. Just my personal style, but I really seem to like that. Sorry for getting a little quiet there, guys, but when I do the center of the face, that is definitely my focus time. You guys are seeing the Mythos focus face. Turn it around, do the other side of the face. I'm really trying to keep it contained to the center of the face. All right. Then I always do it in twos. Keep it, keep it smooth, keep it thin. So we are going to let that dry for a second, catch up in the chat, and then do it all over again.
Smooth, buttery lens.
My smooth, buttery blends. Evening, Heinrich. Kaiju. Hola, Mythos. Hola, Kaiju. Archer, since you're sharing links, hit me up with Redbeards too. Heck yeah. Kaiju says, get swole. What kind of compressor do you have, Mythos, and how are you not paint fuming yourself to a headache? I mean, I don't really ever feel any fumes from the acrylic paints if I were doing a lot of airbrushing or if I were using something a little more toxic like, the polyurethane-based primers and stuff like that. I would definitely have my mask on. My problem is that I didn't feel like I could do the stream, communicate with you guys, and of course have the mask on. So, so in that case, I mean, I'm in a very well ventilated room right now. This desk is on the other side of the main portion of our walkway through to our living room over there and the kitchen over there, and it's very wide space here, and so I'm nice ventilated area. I've got the vent actually right here above the desk, so it's definitely not just sitting there inhaling any kind of fumes or anything. Redbeard, I think he's looking for the link to your brushes, my man. I usually airbrush next to the sink in my utility room. Smart. What kind of compressor am I using? I have I just upgraded because my compressor died earlier this week. But I'm using a Masters airbrush compressor, and this one is with a tank and a cooling fan. So. All right, we're going to go in, and we're going to brighten this face and these muscles up one more time. Oh, and we're going to put ourselves back on our camera screen so that way we can see whether or not we're painting on camera. Not that I really think you guys are getting a whole lot of detail from what's coming through. I think I've got too much light saturation for you guys to really see what I'm doing on camera. I'll try and get up a little closer maybe this time. Although this is a very awkward position to paint at. We'll see if that helps any. Just easing it onto the top of the head. Boom. Top of this muscle. Boom. Turn that sideways. Catch the top of that bicep. Boom. Turn it the other way around. Catching that forearm muscle. Catching that tricep. Catching that inside of that elbow. Catching that forearm muscle right here. Boom. And we're going to come in real close. Make sure we've still got that nice soft ratio. And we are going to do the center of the face. Again, I feel like doing the center of the face really brightens up the whole model, gives it that sense of vibrancy I'm looking for. Alright guys, that is what we're working with right there. And I don't feel like the true colors are coming out, but even without the true colors not being in the camera, I think you can definitely see that the jawline is more shadowed than the center of the face, right? There's a sense of pop that you're drawn to the center of the face there. So my camera work may not be masterful, but I think the airbrushing is coming out okay. And I think that is it, fam. I think I'm done with the airbrush there. So now I'm going to go in and start brushing by hand. Before I do that, I've got to clean out the airbrush real quick because I don't want it to junk up.
It's a how to airbrush tutorial live stream.
Trust me, I'm definitely not skilled enough to really call this a tutorial at the moment, but just showing them how I do it, right?
Showing the way.
All right. Still waiting on the order from the factory. If you message me on Kickstarter, I can do a late pledge. Very nice. Now, Brother Thomas, were you asking for the dry brushes or his first series of regular ghost brushes? That might make a difference too.
What's that made out of?
What's what? This?
Yeah.
This is just water. I just put it in a little squeeze bottle, so that way I can try and rinse some of the stuff out.
Is it special? No, it's just water.
Yep, it really is just water.
Just water.
All right. Spritzy spritz. I know, exciting stuff. You guys sitting here watching me clean my airbrush, but I just want to give it a little scrub-a-dub. Plus B, I know, not that I'm saying I'm any kind of authority or that I'm even doing this the right way. This is just the way I do it. So if anyone is thinking about getting into airbrushing, they're like, what do I do to clean up the brush at the end of each session? This is all I do is, I rinse it out with some water. You can see that there's some stuff there already in the bowl. It's my junk bowl specifically for cleaning out my airbrush. I give it a spritz of my airbrush cleaner. My particular airbrush cleaner is Mean Green, not a one made specifically for this task. But I go in there, I scrub it out with an old toothbrush. I give it a rinsey-roo. What language am I speaking?
Ooh, I want whenever you do more airbrushes that mix colors with that green or something with Temple Guard blue, the one that I use for the highlights.
Oh yeah, if I had anything to airbrush with Temple Guard Blue, I might do that.
It just airbrush for
And of course I just
me for fun.
Take out, a clean towel or a towel that I use to wipe out the inside, and that should be good to go for the moment. Of course, over time, after the end of a big session or whatnot, I'll do a major cleaning at the end, but this is just to kind of make sure that hopefully the inside should be free of any paint while I set it aside and move on to my other stuff like my brushwork.
Dad, do you have enough glue to make me a Smurf?
To make you a Smurf?
Yes.
Well, I don't have any Smurf models.
No. I'm a model. See, look.
You mean to paint you as a Smurf?
Yeah.
No. I think I would need a gallon of paint for that.
Okay. Then we could go to the
Also, I don't think it would necessarily be a great idea to cover you head to toe in acrylic. I think that's something you'd need specifically body paint for, kiddo.
Hey, Rob said these were non-toxic.
I didn't say they were toxic. I just said it may not be a great idea to spray you head to toe in acrylic paint.
Just come back to school. Hey! It'll be nice because I'm a lady all day.
Funnily enough, I actually got more paint on myself closing those bottles than actually airbrushing. I really should decant those things into dropper bottles. It would be way more user-friendly. especially for airbrushing.
It's just paint.
All right. Okay. You said his dry brush Kickstarter, where you got both. Gotcha.
Ooh, liquid copper. Oh, fancy.
Somebody call child services. Mythos is painting his kids.
Please don't paint our kids.
Well, if you insist that I can't. Right on.
How do you open this? Oh, there we go.
War painting them up before they go perform. Oh my goodness.
Just smell like chemicals.
Star here is not part of the Orphan Fight Club.
Yeah, I don't know what the fight club is, so I was about to say yeah, but I don't know what it is.
Apparently, it is a club in which I have orphans fight, kiddo.
Okay. Yes, I'm gonna be an orc.
How
An orc. New squad.
Where did I put my brushes? I am so prepared for this live chat, guys.
See, look, it wouldn't be a hangout without technical difficulties.
This isn't technical difficulties. it's
Without
just-
difficulties.
I think I left my brushes over there.
On the table or on here?
Somewhere on there.
Oh, it's a needle for the Yep.
Sweet. Thank you, kiddo.
You're welcome.
All right. You want to see me edge highlight the orcs? I might paint highlight or edge highlight the mega knobs, or Gazzy. I'm definitely not edge highlighting a standard orc boy. That is definitely not me. You got the wrong guy. We're super professional here on the Frosted Fists. You right? Man, I'm going to tell you guys, I was literally, honestly, just scrambling, trying to hurry up and get things set up. And definitely, big shout out and kudos to Freak, who sets this up every week. Because, man, it took... I underestimated how long it would take to get everything set up. And to remember what buttons to hit and stuff like that. So definitely big kudos to Freak, who always sets these things up.
Yay! Can we have a round of applause? Who's
A round of applause?
A round of applause!
Baby, could you get Daddy's wet palette from the table? All right. Oh, not the orcs, the kids. I don't know if there are any edges on the kids to highlight, except for like her teeth. They're not very edgy kids. Oh man.
Red palette!
Okay. So the kiddo has brought me my wet palette, but also the kiddo has brought out part of my hobby update I didn't talk about.
Yeah.
Is my little girls, Cheetah and Star, painted up their first ever Space Marine set. Well, they started on Saturday.
Oh.
And we're going to have another session this weekend. But they've got their base coats and a highlight color down each. So, like, Cheetah here started with corn red, and she's built up to a Mephiston red. So, it's not bad. Definitely a lot smoother than my first paint job. Looking pretty good. And then Star here started from the fangs, picked a nice space wolfy color, and she decided to highlight up to Temple Guard blue. So that with great heresy, she managed to incorporate both a Space Wolves color and a Thousand Suns color. But it's awesome because she loves turquoise and teal colors. Yeah. And so this was definitely, her thing here. Really cool. Check this out. My little girl, you can see, I talked to her about working in thin layers and stuff like that. And you can see she's kind of got a little transition going from the shoulder pad, the edge of the shoulder pads, out into the body of the shoulder pad. So that's kind of cool. You can definitely see there's some shadow there. So way thinner and smoother than my first coats of paint for sure. So we're gonna do some more work on these this weekend. And
Have you kept your first painted model?
mm-hmm. I've touched it up a few times since the first time, but yep, I've got them around somewhere.
For me, whenever I draw faces and stuff, I don't touch them up because I want to see how much I've grown into it.
See, that would have been a good idea, but see, the ego got a hold of me, and I was just like, touch up here, touch up there. And it wasn't like major things, like the base paint job is still there, but like over time, I went back and added a third color, so that way it wasn't just black and silver, and then I added a power sword effect whenever the gem paints came out, so.
I like cool colors because they're very cool. Glasses.
Kaiju says it's her own legion, thousand wolves. Nice. I take it you haven't seen the comic style makeup, have you? Paint the kids heavy metal styled.
Yeah.
Oh, bad dad jokes. Oh, we're big fans of dad jokes here. Not Ultra Smurf Blue. That's a huge good point. Very nice. Lady Dragon approves. Correction. At least it's not Ultra Smurf Blue. Could be worse. Redbeard message sent, and Kaiju says my first Space Marine may as well have been dunked in a paint pot. So you got some kudos from the chat there, kiddo.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, so I'm going to start with some weird places here.
What?
On this model. Because I'm going to water my paint down a bit. And so I'm going to start on a place of the model I wouldn't normally start, but because I want to give it extra time to dry. So this is really messy. A really messy wet palette, and I apologize for the mess.
Why are you apologizing for message? This is arts. I don't know a whole lot of Bob Ross quotes, but see, look, happy little accident. This was an accident.
Actually, we're going to come over here. And I'm starting with some Beastie Brown by Vallejo Againier. Adding in a couple nice healthy drops of Flow Improver because I love Flow Improver.
Yeah, Flow Improver.
Use one of my extra brushes just to mix it all up. It's still not as watery as I want it yet, so we can drop in a little bit extra Flow Improver.
What does that do?
It helps it flow a little more smoothly.
So more thin coats.
And it thins it down a lot. So
kind of like that you showed us the other day about the light.
like what?
Oh, the light. About about the highlight and
Yes, but I do want that see-through kind of property, but for something else. But see, contrast is different, baby, because it has a shrinking quality, so the paint will tighten over time.
Oh. Wait, which one? The one?
Contrast, the one you had in your hand.
Okay.
Man, that is still not watered down enough yet. Apparently, I took out way too much paint for this project. But that's the beauty of a wet palette, of course. So I can set the lid on it, and it'll still be there, wet and ready to go. Freaking month from now.
Maybe you could get a sponsorship on here. Yeah, it's this live stream's
Not me. I'm just messing around here on the stream, Freak is the real painter on the channel. So if anyone got a sponsorship for painting, it would be Freak.
I feel like that would be me too. It's just me goofing off like.
Clean wet palette is unused. You right. Kaiju says, I'm glad I've skilled up from those days. Looked around nervously. Man, you have leveled up. You've definitely leveled up. I've seen the stuff you crank out. And you paint out some pretty awesome stuff, man. I love seeing the stuff on your channel. Especially, I love the Gundam stuff. I love the Sentai stuff. I love the Godzilla stuff. I mean, it is all cool stuff. Moving you to my phone so I can listen while I airbrush. Awesome. Get in some hobby, brother.
Wait, hold up. Could you repeat that again, please? Make that hurt or the booty on the phone or something like that?
What? No, he said he's moving over to the phone.
Oh.
Booty on the phone.
Inappropriate.
See, look.
See, now you got me demonetized. What are you doing? All right, so I'm taking this beastly brown, and I want it to be really runny and wet and inconsistent because I'm just sucking it up into my brush and letting it flow onto the weapons, the black primer on the weapons. I want it to come out, splotchy whenever it dries and stuff like that because it's going to be the base for my rust on these orky weapons. Plus the great thing is that I can just put it in a crack like this area between his fingers here and it just flows into the handle of the gun. So it's going to come out splotchy, it's going to come out wet, inconsistent, but being that I'm trying to mimic rust, those are all good qualities here. Same thing here for these weapons. Dab, 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 dab.
Not my soul. Oh, my soul. Ah.
Don't scream into my microphone.
Feel like
You're so loud, kiddo.
even when I'm not playing Overwatch.
No, you're just loud in life, baby.
Yeah. See, look. I'm the death school leggings because I'm dead now. I'm dead. Oh, not back in the beginning.
BS Mythos, you're a good painter too. Man, I'm just trying like everybody else. I'm definitely not the confident, know what I'm doing painter like Freak is. I definitely probably not qualified to be here live, all painting live in front of people where everybody can see what I'm doing, but
We just showed the video from last night before story time.
There's a little there's a little metal plate here underneath his clothes, so I'm dripping in some of that rust color there. Wolf Wraith. Oh my god. So now I'm painting in front of a phenomenal painter. Oh man.
It's like you're
Wolf Wraith, don't look.
It's like you're geeking out. It's like oh.
Don't look, Wolf Wraith, just listen. Don't see how bad I'm painting. Oh man. Yes, I am streaming, baby.
To like a special guest star. Aww.
I showed off the
Yeah.
model you and your sister started last weekend. You guys got some nice kudos from the chat. And of course, he's got a plate of armor on his back here.
Plate.
Shh, not too loud. I appreciate the energy, girls. Good to see you, Wolf Wraith, my man. Oh. I'm just doing what I can, my man. I'm just doing what I can. So we're going to let that rust color start to dry. Check out the chat a little bit. a dad joke. Hey, Elira, a dad joke and a dab. Kaiju says it's a dab joke. Huh? Huh? Skaven are massive. Just done my 45th video in a row. Hobby updates are hard when on night shift, but I've done it so far. Looking good, Mythos. Thank you so much, Jamjar. Man, that is a really impressive project. 45 days, hobby updates every single day. You can check him out over at Jamjar34. He's got a massive, massive, massive Pay-T project he's on right now. And, I mean, 45 videos in a row, 45 days in a row. Lots of hobby, lots of videos all the time. It's pretty good. Wolfwraith, my man. So I dropped into one of your chats and you said you had some exciting news on the way. I don't know. Have you made any further progress on that? I'm not sure if you got to where things were announced yet or anything. But if you have, I'm very curious. If not, they both just yelled boo at you. Actually, that is very common in our family. Whenever we love all making puns in this family, and any one of the four of us does a pun, the worse the pun, the other three of us are compelled to boo at each other. It's a pretty awesome little tradition we've got going. So, while I'm letting some of this nothing announced yet, I'm looking forward to seeing whatever you've got cooking. I have a feeling you're working on something big, Wolfwraith. If you guys want to know what hashtag secrets are on the way, you guys should stay tuned to Wolfwraith over on Twitch. So, I do want to drop you guys a spot of a really cool thing that happened to me. And now I'm getting booed by Lady Dragon too. Boo. I can give you a sneak peek. I've almost got it all done besides the head. Ooh. I mean, if you shoot it over to me, unfortunately tonight, I don't really have the setup to be able to show stuff on stream right now. Actually, so normally when I live stream with Freak takes care of all the techie stuff. Freak does the whole showing his screen and stuff like that. Right now, I've got my screen set where it is, and I'm afraid if I click on something else or try to show another screen or something, I'm not sure that I could successfully show it. I might be able to. If you send it over, I can try. I'm gonna try. Let's see. Leave this screen on. Let's see if looking at my t-shirt does the trick. Okay, I'm gonna click on this button here. Okay, it looks like we have a screen. Actually, crap, if I had prepared, I might have been able to do Art of the Week. Well, that aside though. Okay, we're gonna go back to me. Actually, so if you want to send any hashtag secrets, I might be able to show it to you on the screen.
Is it a secret if you show it on the screen?
All right, send it over, Wolfwraith, my man. We'll get it hooked up. We can show you some of the secrets. Oh, you've already done it. You've already sent it over. Look at you. You are on top of it, my brother. If I tell everyone, is it a hashtag secret? It depends on how much I give. All right, guys. So this is from Wolfwraith, a sneak peek at things happening, guys. We're going to go over here. We're going to press this button. We're going to transition. Ka-chow. Check that out, guys. That is looking cool. You can see this big old massive weapon here. Looks like a storm bolter here. I love, love, love this cape. Definitely you can tell he's been through some battles. It's all tattered. maybe ripped apart by bullets, maybe ripped apart by raw psychic energy. Very, very cool. That. Oh, and what is this up here? It says Chief Librarian Wolfwraith, Hole Without Head. What do you think, guys? What do you think? Secrets. Definitely got some secrets, guys. What do you think? And we're going to go back to the chat. Oh, man. So Heinrich Botha says, nice. Love the cloak. Damn. Hellwork says, and here I was ready to burn my brushes. This gives you a reason to pick them back up, my brother. That would be so amazing, Wolfwraith. That image is looking fantastic. Man. I can see some people here in the chat look like they would love to have a model, something like that. The only thing I can say, guys, is I don't know what hashtag secrets there might be. But if you guys stay tuned to Wolfwraith on Twitch, you might find out more about this amazing model coming up. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think that would be something pretty special. Pretty special. All right, looks like I am ready for another patchy layer of Rustwater. I love how you can tell you are such a phenomenally talented painter, Wolfwraith, because I mentioned I get a picture from you. People already ready to burn their brushes. They're like, oh hell, what's coming up now? What's coming up now? What kind of Mona Lisa stuff are we about to see? And I'm really being more careful with it than I actually really need to be at the moment, because I'm going to come back and readdress the gray armor, the black, clothing. I'm going to be doing all that anyway. So I haven't really started to put down any colors yet. So there's really not a need to be super careful and crisp right now, but sometimes it's hard to get out of that habit of staying inside the lines, Maybe it's just good practice, good brush control. All right, layer number 2 of our glazed rusty color. Oh, let's not forget where some moisture might collect around the barrel. There we go. You guys can see I did drill out my gun barrel there. And actually, on these orcs, I haven't done too bad of a job, keeping it centered, trying to drill these gun barrels in. Ooh. Speaking of a gift for Freak, do I think he would prefer to paint it himself, or do I think he'd appreciate a Lady Dragon special? Well, I can tell you that when Freak has too much to paint, he sometimes feels a little overwhelmed, and adding to his backlog sometimes stresses him out more. I can also tell you that he has a couple models painted up by the amazing Nerd Life and Malaga War Games, and he treasures both of those as part of his collection. So if I were to take a stab at it, I would say that possibly the amazing work by Lady Dragon would be the way to go. Do I normally paint one orc at a time? Not normally. Just I know what my focus is during the stream, and actually this is my last one from the set to paint. And I put it aside specifically to paint on stream. And so that's why I'm painting this one. The first couple I did as a couple tests. Those were solo, and then I knocked out 2 at a time, and then I knocked out 5 at a time. So I'm working at my batch painting, and honestly, I'm normally not a batch painter. I would prefer to paint 1 or 2 at a time. I know in the long run that would take me longer, but I abhor batch painting. However, with these orcs, I actually didn't find batch painting 5 of them to be that much of a chore at all. I think it's because they're relatively simple. The colors, are pretty forgiving colors: black, gray, green, some metallic work. And I'm honestly making the metallic work more complicated than I have to. I mean, I obviously could just slap down some lead belcher and some known oil and, highlight it. But for some reason, I have it in my head I want to do all of these as rusty weapons. So I've been doing a little bit extra with the metal. However, that being said, I think aside from that, though, I really think it's not been bad at all batch painting 10 orcs. Now, you guys know how it is with orcs. With any horde army, though, by the time I get to number 50, or in my case, I really hate batch painting. By the time I get to number 20, I might be sick of it, and I may have a different opinion. But no, I have been working up towards batch painting with these. But I wanted something I could do easy and go back and forth with the chat, and not have to put too much focus in, and actually have some time going between brushwork and doing a little airbrushing on stream. So I'm glad the people like the look of it so far. The final product. I'm gonna try this again. I'm just glad people like the look of it, the Chief Librarian Wolfwraith, so far. But the final product I plan to release to everybody for free. Isn't that amazing, guys? Guys, hear it here. Chief Librarian Wolfwraith will be released to people for free. Isn't that awesome? Guys, I say it all the time. I feel like my favorite Twitch streamer is the man Wolfwraith. And you guys, as a part of this amazing thing he's doing, and again, I'm not going to talk on it too much, but check that out. Free model available to download and print of Chief Librarian Wolfwraith. Guys, and if this is going to be especially cool. I don't have a printer, so I'm going to have to ask somebody to hook me up. But think about that. Especially if someone were a fan of the channel, like I'm a fan of the channel, you being able to have that piece, that physical piece, that tangible part of a channel that you enjoy following, that is super cool. I think that's just an incredible, incredible thing. Redbeard says, on my streams, I've been painting 1 Warcry guy at a time, and it's been pretty nice compared to when I was doing 10 Eldar at a time. Very smart. I did notice when I was painting up the orcs 1 by 1, it felt very chill. So I think that's why I wanted to go back to doing that here on the stream. Wait until you paint grots. It gets tedious. I know. I was noticing my friendly local here had a box of 10 grots. And I kept wanting to say Nerf herder. And I know that's a Star Wars thing. But, the little shepherd guy that comes with the grots. I had a box of those with the shepherd guy for like $15. And I was like, oh, that would be cool. This would help me get a little closer to a battalion. And I'm like, do I need grots? Is there anything on my list that can use grots? And actually, thinking about it now, getting some grots to use as a grot shield around Gaz is probably not a terrible idea. But I can definitely see. And I was like, well, I've got Prophecy of the Wolf coming. I've got 5 extra knobs coming. I've got an extra box of Mega Knobs, because I have 6 Mega Knobs total. I've got an extra box of Mega Knobs to paint up. I've got plenty of orcs from now, but I probably should snag that box of grots while it's still 15. A grot herder. I kept wanting to say Nerf herder. Grots, shepherd, grot herder. Okay, yeah. My brain just didn't make that connection there. They're scruffy looking. Speaking of scruffy looking, a little story I want to tell you about something amazing that happened to me today. And I just want to double check. Freak's not here in the chat, right? Just double checking for Freak once. checking for Freak twice. No Freak here in the chat. All right. So, I'm so sorry that my brother Freak is not feeling well tonight, and that he's got some semi-serious health stuff going on, and my poor brother's been in pain all day, and just absolutely miserable. Again, he wanted to be here tonight. He kept saying, "I don't want to have to cancel tonight," but it just got to be too much for him, and so that's why he's not here. So I mean, definitely, heart goes out to Freak. I hope he gets to feeling better, and anyways, so. We joke all the time about how we have very yin-yang luck. When one of us is rolling ones, the other one's rolling sixes. And my poor brother has been so miserable all day, just in constant pain all day. Just gradually building up and becoming worse pain all day. I actually had a spot of really good luck today. And, I mean... It is unfortunate that when one of us is up, the other one's down. I had some amazing luck today, though. So my favorite band in the world, Season of Ghosts, was doing an Instagram live stream today. And, of course, I jumped on. I wanted to see what they were chatting about and stuff like that. And during their chat, of course, I've spoken to them before. I've met them in concert, I'm on their Facebook page and stuff like that. Now, a lot of you probably would never have heard of them. They're a smaller European band called Season to Ghost. They do perform in English. They have performed here in America a few times. But they were on doing their live stream thing today. Season to Ghost, again, my favorite band in the world. And Zombie Sam actually is my favorite guitarist ever. Actually beating out Slash from Guns N' Roses as my favorite guitarist, because that was my former favorite guitarist. So it's awesome to have your favorite singer, your favorite guitarist, actually message you back, on Facebook pages and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. They really do a great job of communicating with their fans and being responsive. It's just really amazing. Anyway, so I was following along their Instagram live chat today. And they said, as a special thing, we want to stay connected to our fans during this isolation stuff. So we're going to pick 2 of our fans. You guys go ahead and send a request to join our stream, and we'll pick 2. And I was the second person picked. And I got to actually be on an Instagram live stream with my favorite band in the world, chatting with them for a few minutes and being part of their stream. And it was incredible. It was phenomenal. I mean, I was making my favorite band in the world. I had jokes. I made them laugh. I actually treated it a lot like one of these Frosted Fist live streams. I actually was strangely not that nervous. I just treated it like a Frosted Fist live stream. I cracked jokes. I made them laugh. It was good times. And they even said that I was looking quite handsome, and I was much more handsome than the last time they saw me. Of course, that was like 65 pounds ago that they saw me. And plus, I've grown my little isolation beard. I've become quite fond of it. But they even, so far, Zombie Sam and Sophia, both said that I was even looking a little bit like a model. So that was a great ego boost.
So that's what you needed. A bigger ego.
Exactly. I need confidence sometimes.
You're never lacking in confidence.
I lack in confidence all the time, babe.
You're a lie.
I'm a lie. Oh, Lupus Canada says small numbers. Try historic arms. Hundreds of figures. Yeah, man, I stress out whenever I have to paint more than 5 models. Usually, I once tried my very first commission. This was probably a mistake doing it my first commission ever. Is I decided to tackle 20 tacticals all at once, and I was miserable. And so ever since then, I've just despised batch painting. Gamecraft Jagged says, use the bubble wrap for Gaz and your Ludas. I'm not sure I'm rolling any Ludas in my list. However, that is definitely a good idea. If I use any Ludas or any Mega Guns or anything like that, that is absolutely a good plan. And even if not, sticking them around my Mega Knobs or my Gas is a good idea. Freaking Zane are at Red Lobster getting all-you-can-eat shrimps. Ah, bastards. Nobody invited me for all-you-can-eat shrimps. I guess someone had to mind the stream. Wolf Wraith, jumping into a lurk for a bit, having to sort the printer out. Right on, right on. Haha, that's a bit cute, though. Not as cute as you, though, Chief. Finger guns. Why, thank you. Why, hello there. Alright, guys. I'm going to jump back in. And while this is mostly dry, but before I go on to my next layer, I want to make sure it's good and thoroughly dry. But I can definitely use dry enough for me to handle now. Using, so we're just going to go in with some of the black and clean up some of the areas, of course, that have gotten a little overspray from the green and stuff like that. And I am going to use the most professional, model paint in the world. Something that all the major YouTubers are using. I'm going to use my Apple Barrel Jet Black. Guys, I know most people would crucify me for using craft paints on a Mini. But man, I really feel like properly thinned down, the Apple Barrel Jet Black is the best black I've ever worked with. It goes on super smooth. It is the flattest, most matte black I've ever used. How in the world do you not have any Ludas in your army? Well, and perhaps you guys can change my mind on this, but being that I'm not one of the clans that get bonuses for re-rolling to shoot or anything like, say, Bad Moons, I just have trouble putting stock in ballistic skill, a shooting unit that's ballistic skill 5. That means I'm hitting less than half the time. And I feel like when you're in a melee or in a shooting focused army like Bad Moons, of course, it makes more sense. But with my melee focused Goffs, I don't feel like if I take anything like Ludas or anything, I just don't feel like they'll be hitting that often. Now, of course, again, I am a brand new Orc player. Maybe I just don't see the like yet. So if you guys have any tips or, change my mind, guys. Let me know why I'm backwards in my way of thinking. I am spoiled from a Space Marine's perspective. I'm used to hitting on 3s. I feel like if I have to, if I'm only hitting on 5s and 6s, I'll never hit anything. That's just my personal thoughts. You guys tell me, am I still going to be doing damage? Gamecraft Dragon says, literally the best shooting support unit in the game. I don't know. I don't know about best shooting unit in the game. That's a pretty bold statement, especially in a world where Imperial Fist Centurion Devastators can deal like 70 mortal wounds in their shooting phase. I think that's a pretty bold statement there, my friend. But again, tell me why I'm wrong. Explain it to me. Gosh, I don't even remember what movie it is because I was a kid at the time, but I feel like there was a lawyer movie, The Firm? I want to say it was The Firm, from when I was a kid, where one of the lawyers used to say, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. All right. Oh, for orcs. Okay, the best shooting support unit in the game for orcs. Okay, I missed that part. Dude, they have some major firepower for coverage. Run 8 with a spanner, 20 grots in front of them. Baby meat shields. All right, but again, how do I guess I'm just really having trouble with the idea that this unit with a ballistic skill of 5+ is going to hit anything. I feel like I'm going to throw tons of shots at something and pay for, this big bad shooting unit that's never going to hit anything. I really my mind has really just been mostly on on Malay, and then maybe running like a Waaagh jet or a burn bomb as a distraction Carnifex. Was that Colombo or Ironside? I thought it was something like the Firm or something like that. Again, I don't really remember. I was a kid at the time, so my memory from back then, I don't remember what movie that was. But also, I really have this thing called CRS. It's a very serious medical condition. So it really affects, my ability to remember movie quotes and stuff like that. CRS, very serious, guys. Come on, my brothers, feed me that orc knowledge. Let me know why I've got the backwards way of thinking. Why I'm thinking like a backwards snake bite. Get a snotling bubble wrap in front and have your orc knobs behind. Yeah, I was thinking about, using them as a grot shield for my mega knobs and stuff like that, or my Gazgul. The Ludas though, that really perplexes me. I see a lot of people say that they're good, and of course in a Bad Moons list where they get to re-roll their shooting, I could see that. I just have trouble seeing why I would take them with Goffs, only hitting on 5s. You can pick a way overpriced tractor cannon, they auto hit. It's not a bad idea. I mean, the model is like $40 though. Pretty cool. I've actually seen some people do some really cool conversions for tractor cannons. One of the orc channels I like following is called the 40K Orcs, DA, the 40K Orcs. And he's got some custom tractor cannons that he's converted. And I think he's got it like fully converted. I think it can be a smasher gun. I think it can be a tractor cannon. Some pretty cool stuff. Also, he has some of his orcs that he's painting blue like WoW orcs, which really gives me a sense of nostalgia for when I used to play WoW. So I thought that was pretty cool. Could test a unit and see how it works for you. No harm in trying a unit. You're right. Once I get everything going. And I think that's the kind of thing I might do a stand-in of a unit for. Because that's definitely, I definitely don't want to get to where I buy and paint up a unit and then not end up using it or liking it, right? So that might be something worth, in a friendly game, proxying, testing out before I invest. And it's funny. I don't want to buy the unit, if I'm not sure I'm going to like the unit, but also I don't want to take the time to paint up the unit of Ludas if I think I'm not going to like them on the tabletop. Because time is valuable. You can earn more money, but it's hard to earn back more time. Alright, because they're shooting D3 shots per figure, use a Spanna, 1 CP, roll twice, choose the better, D3 times 8 shots, strength 7, AP -1, 2 damage, 48-inch range. Okay. Speaking of testing, how was Tabletop Simulator? That was actually, okay, so of course, both of us being noobs to Tabletop Simulator, there was some frustrations with, trying to figure out what buttons to click, and, like certain things were going kind of glitchy at first, as to, like at one point we had the dice rolling system there. It's got the really nice dice that when you put them in the dice roller, it automatically lines up. These are all your 1s, or all your 2s, all your 3s. You guys may have seen the Instagram picture where even in Tabletop Simulator, Freak managed to roll, like, it's cool because everything lines up and you can see I've got 3 6s lined up, 2 5s lined up. Freak had like a stack of a bunch of stuff. I think it was his saves for something, but he had just like a whole row of 1s that were twice the length of any of his other rows. It was crazy. Also remember, for every 6 rolled again, that's right, Daka Daka Daka. They are Space Marine deleters. Very cool. I've got a couple of... I've got the opposite of CRS. I've got a very good long-term memory. I can recite conversation and events exactly from decades and decades ago. Oh, man. Not as good as I remember bad things from years ago. And no, not good, as I also remember the bad things from years ago and bear grudges because of it. I could see that. I could see that. I have a very selective CRS. Like, for some reason, I forget most things. But then when it comes to useless, random information, I've got tons of it. I got tons of it. Whenever stuff comes up in conversation, I'm like, hey, did you know blah, 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 blah. People are like, why do you even know that? I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, back to Tabletop Simulator. So once we got the glitch, like, we had, going back, we had the really nice dice that auto-organize themselves and stuff like that. It took us 20 to 25 minutes to figure out how to roll the dice. Because we kept trying to pick up the stacks of dice that come in the set, and then we found out later that they were only for copying and pasting the amount of dice you wanted to use. We were trying to roll the template for the dice. Just the templates. So we were sitting there trying to roll, and we were just getting so frustrated. Like, why can't we roll the dice? Oh, man. And then, of course, he had his army in sections. Like, I went in and I had my whole army in one saved object. But he had them in a couple different ones. And for some reason, it didn't want to load them separately. So he had to go back in, and he ended up having to kick me out of the room. Then he could load in his units, and he had to invite me in. But that took us, again, another 30 minutes to figure out. But once we finally got going, it was fun. And it was good. Like, honestly, nothing will ever compare to the feel of rolling, physically hanging out with your bros, physically rolling some dice, having, that in-person laugh together, that kind of camaraderie. But, man, it was a good titer, right? That snack you have while you're waiting for, it was a good appetizer. It really helped give the feel of a game together. I was definitely feeling that thrill of, can I get my units into close combat before he shoots me off the table? And it was cool. He had a ton of firepower that first round. And he killed a lot of my stuff. It's funny. So I was experimenting with scout units and stuff like that, as I bought 10 used scouts on eBay. I got in some used parts, or I got some parts from some third-party companies and stuff like that, and some other used bits places on eBay, and Puppets War, which I'm going to be doing an unboxing for sometime soon, because I wanted to convert some scouts into sword and pistol scouts, but I'm just going to not bother putting the pistol on. I'm just going to go sword, and I've got a little... they're like katana and dagger from Puppets War. They're pretty cool looking. And some actual Storm Shadow style ninja heads. And then I took this from one of the White Scars biker upgrade kits. So this kind of looks like a little katana-ish. But it's thicker than the Puppets War katanas. And so I'm going to airbrush some power effects here. He's going to have the dagger. One of these scouts I got used, most of them are the standing scouts, which is cool, so they'll have the running pose. But one of the scouts was a missile launcher sniper rifle scout, and he's the only one I've got with the cape, so I've got him in a cool kneeling pose, and he's going to have one sword up, I'm going to airbrush the power of sword effects. He's going to have the dagger in the other hand, and he's going to be kind of that ninja wearing a cape kind of look. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. Anyways, so I was experimenting with some of these ninja scouts, the close combat ones that can start off 9 inches away, run in 9 inches, and with White Scars, assault, advance, and then assault, so almost guaranteed first turn charges. Man killed I got to go first. I seized the initiative because, again, he rolled like a 2 and I rolled a 6. I stole the initiative from him. Actually, he won the who goes first roll, but then I came back and stole the initiative. And after I stole the initiative, I moved everything up first turn, got some first turn charges, and he killed my scouts all in my own assault phase. Like I got his lieutenant down to 1 wound. I killed 1 intercessor, but he killed like 10 of my dudes on my first turn. It was pretty crazy. But after that, I was in his lines and I was in melee. And so right now, I've killed a couple of his big dudes. Like I think I've killed most of his aggressors, most of his centurions, and I've got his lieutenant down to 1. I've got his hellblasters tied up in combat with an assault squad. So most of his oh, that was okay. Well, I'll come back to that. So most of his heavy duty stuff is either killed or tied up in combat. So right now it could actually go either way. I mean, he could pull out of combat and get me shot real good. If my stuff stays tied up in combat, I might be able to, kill him outrightly with my white scars. We'll see. It could go either way right now. But it was good. It was exciting to have that. Am I going to make it? Am I going to die? Kind of feel. Elston Nation, man, myth, and legend. Good morning. Use a painted unit you have as a unit of Ludas and see how you get on. I'm going to have to try that. Yes, with Bad Moons and Death Skulls, they're great, but you can also use 2 CP and use the stratagem more DACA, and 5s count for DACA as well as 6s. Okay, I'm going to have to try that out. Yes, Dave, that was a scout. So these are all. So this is one of the 10 scouts I got used on eBay. Pretty cheap, and it's normally in a sniper pose. In fact, I had to snipe off the sniper rifle and tossed it in the bin. And I replaced one of the sniper rifle arms with this sword from the White Scar Biker upgrade kit. And then there's going to be a backhandle dagger that goes in this other hand. And he's going to be kind of ninja-y instead. Got one of the heads here that's got kind of the forward ninja mask, but leaves his head and eyes kind of exposed. I think I might rock that head. I might put a full ninja head on. I'm not sure. But yeah, I wanted my White Scar scouts to have a really ninja vibe to them. Forge the Wild. Atlas says, "Waaagh! The boys, goodies." Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. So, Atlas, my man, just to show you some of what I've been doing this week. And I showed some of this off at the beginning of the stream, but we have had a few people join since then. I have mostly, with the exception of a couple details I need to finish up in the morning, got 10 boys all painted up. And 3 of them already based. Because I am moving them all over to 32s, and I know a lot of Orc players are going to, laugh at me for this, but I wanted to go ahead and put them on, the new legal size, the 32s. Plus, honestly, I wanted to do the jungle basing, and the bigger bases just gives me more room to play around with. But yeah, got these bunch of boys going. Went for some real rusty weapons here. I don't know how well that'll show up on stream, but really rusted weapon effect. Nice and chipped up. Been doing some goth style checker patterns. Again, nothing too impressive, but again, if you squint your eyes real blurry, my checker patterns make relatively convincing squares. So 10 boys, 1 week. That's got to be the fastest I've ever painted up any models. I'm no Elston Nation, but for me, 10 models in a week is pretty groundbreaking territory for Wolf Brother. Or in this case, a Waaagh brother. A Waaagh brother. So yeah, guys, that is definitely that's what I've been cracking at this week. Going with some Dawnstone Gray next for the pants. Oof. Impressive, brother. The checker pattern shows up real well. Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I honestly was not. I was honestly, when I first started doing this, before Grumpy said, I've got a tutorial, you'll be able to crack out those checker patterns real easy. I honestly was thinking, no way I'm going to freehand that on. Probably just going to leave the checker pattern off, not even include it. But Grumpy's like, nah, I'll put together a tutorial, you'll see, it's easy. And honestly, it wasn't that bad. However, I did, and I've got a really junked out one, but it still had a flat edge. It was a chisel tip brush here, and it still had a relatively flat edge. That shows me it was a lot easier than I anticipated it would be, with the flat edges of a chiseled edged brush. So with that, I think I'm going to go get some of the flat edge brushes that I saw on the Broken Toad store. Get myself a really good quality small flat edge brush and use it to do my checker patterns in the future. I was looking and they look like they've got some really, really ace looking quality brushes. What are the current numbers on the miniature painting challenge? Man, so I honestly have no idea, my brother. So in January, of course, I ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks, or well, a little over a week. In February, I ended up having to have dental surgery, and then March, Corona hit, and I have just completely fallen off the wagon with keeping up with all that, and just not been able to keep up with it. So it is my fault. Everything kind of fell apart there. I'm just gonna. At this point now, I'm basically just gonna try and see if towards the end of the year I can get a couple of annual totals from everyone. I can tell you that currently, until I finish these Orc Boys, your Wolf Brother is sitting at 33 models. 33? Yep, 33 models. Gamecraft Dragon, 115. Oh man, I love this guy, but I hate this guy. A chiseled edge brush. I'm sure I've got that name completely wrong, Atlas. It is. I'm just talking about a brush with a flat edge, instead of a rounded edge. 115. Jesus, man. Like I said, I love this guy, but I hate this guy. Oh man. And he Big D has set himself a goal to try and hit that same number within a week for his midwinter minis challenge. And I feel like I've really, pushed myself and really gone as far as I can with doing these 10 models in 1 week. I couldn't even imagine getting such numbers. So Big D, I cannot hang with you, man. I can't keep up with you. You win, my brother. You win. Pete is also somewhere up there. Although with that pace that D is going, I'm 99% sure when we get to the end of the year, Big D's got this in the bag. Like no one in the same category as him. Those are started to edge towards Elstination numbers there. Archer says once he finishes this batch, he'll be up to 40. He is passing me up. And actually, I'm passing me up. I was looking at my numbers from last year, and this time last year I had 36 minis painted. I've only got 33 now, so I am slower this year than last year. So, I've definitely got a lot of ground to make up. And he'll have 5 more done before he goes to bed tonight. Again, I love this guy, but I hate this guy. This guy. Mythos, I think we'll be competing for 5th and 6th place. You right. You right. Yeah, no, as much as I joke, as much as I joke, and as much as I for real cannot touch the game Craft Dragon, that is definitely some inspirational numbers, man. Like, very cool, very impressive numbers, brother. I know I will never be like you. Even if I get to where I'm painting for 30 years, I will never be like you, man. But you are very impressive, brother. Jesus. All right, man. All right. Big props to you. Now stop bragging. I'm actually slowing down to do 115. We get it, man. You're a badass. I'll be happy to make the top 10. I think there's less than 10 of us competing. I think you're already top 10.
Oh no, I'm just holding acrylic paints.
I use the term competing loosely.
Competing. I'm the one I'm still doing with your acrylic paints.
Is orcs your primary painting concern, Mythos? See, that's a that's a complicated question. I have been in an orc kick lately, yes. And I've got Prophecy of the Wolf sitting here. Brand new shiny box. And one of the things we talked about earlier tonight is I only want one wolf out of there to be a wolf. So one of the things we're talking about is what order should I paint? Should I go straight for Big Boy Ragnar? Which there was only one vote for. Or should I start with the orcs? And the general consensus of the chat was start with the orcs and reward myself with Ragnar. I'm around the 190 area. Just spent 5 minutes counting in my head. Whew! 190. 190. Those are some Elstonation numbers. Oh! Of course those are Elstonation numbers. We're talking to the great Elstonation.
Yeah.
The beard has spoken. I know how you do bases first. How long do you spend on basing alone? Let's see. It depends on what I'm doing. Like I've got a good rhythm for my Space Wolves snowy mountain bases. I usually knock those out pretty quickly. The White Scars, again, my basing is pretty quick because I'm using Luke's APS or Geek Gaming's ready basing system. So the basing is pretty quick on those. However, on these jungle bases, I did kind of struggle through them just because I'm trying to be a little more careful with them, trying to stack the plants so they look right. I really had a vision for some good jungle basing with these. And even though it's unrealistic for a jungle, I went with, a brighter gray white stone underneath. So that way, a lot of the foliage on there really stands out more, which I know the purpose of plants is to blend, part of the purpose of plants is to blend in with other plants. But I wanted you to actually see the foliage and greenery. So I put the stone there. So I do the stone effect. I put down, the Vallejo mud and adhesive to glue down, the leaves and stuff like that. Then I specifically, very carefully placed the plants around. So honestly, it took me all of Monday Night Raw to base 3 orcs. So, But again, part of that was figuring out the process and figuring out what I do, because these are the first 3 that I based. So it really depends on what I'm doing. Because I'm trying to be extra with these bases, which was a stupid idea, by the way. A stupid idea, because in a horde army, I decided to do the most complicated basing. I'm going to regret that decision later. But for now, I like it. But yeah, so these have taken me a little bit longer, kind of feeling my way through them. But it's something Redbeard Boss talks about in his live streams, is that typically when you do the first couple models, they're your slowest ones, and then because your part of it is figuring out color placement, how you want to paint it up a certain way. But when you go back up and paint the next one, you know, you've already made those decisions, so you're going to go more quickly and stuff like that. So hopefully the next ones I do base up will go quicker, especially since, like I said, my focus for tomorrow morning, finish up the details on these guys, get the rest of them based, boom, tomorrow be done with my very first squad of works.
I wonder something. Are you planning on painting all the kinds of models there? Like you have your white scars, but then like.
What about? I'm sorry. What?
Are you planning on like painting all the characters that there are so far? Like you have orcs that you're painting and your space wolves. Also have white scars. Like are you planning on painting everything?
Yeah, I mean that's why I buy all these models, just to eventually paint them and play them. So eventually they'll all get painted. But almost every hobbyist has what they call a pile of shame, which is where they gather more models than they have time. They have the speed to paint. So it's just like eventually everybody ends up with a collection that they haven't painted yet. But now as far as doing basing first, okay, so like these orcs I based after the fact. My white scars I based after the fact. As far as basing first, so my space wolves, I do the rock portion. I do all the rock effects and stuff like that. I do that, so that way I can prime over it and paint them up separately. But as far as doing the basing first, I actually don't usually do the completed basing until I'm done with the model. Like these, they're glued to the base, but that's because these are used models that came already glued to the bases. So tomorrow, like what I've had to do with these, you can see those are actually on different size bases. So I'm actually ripping these off of the old bases, cutting off the parts for the slaughter bases, and rebasing them on the bases that they'll finally be used on. It wouldn't be a Kushranada model if I didn't drop it at some point. Forge the Wild says, eventually, yes, eventually. Eventually we get to a collection like that. Let's see.
In 30 years.
I think I could be around 60 to 80 painted this year, but I'm not really sure. Warcry terrain is slowing me down. Yeah, terrain can tend to do that, especially since you've been going really high quality with your Warcry terrain. You know, going for the airbrush, the different gradients and everything like that. It's awesome. Artless says, yes, eventually you develop a collection like that. Tucks 200 plus models under the rug. Some people build up such collections more quickly than others.
If you press them under the rug, could rip you mom.
Yep.
Mom's cartoon. And then of course your life.
Micro pens are a lifesaver for Space Marine eyes. Pens are great for eyeballs in general too. Yep. Check out my Instagram. Just posted my pile of shame. Oh man. All right. We can go check out this pile of shame. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to first show it to you, kiddo. So this is his collection of unpainted stuff. You can see it takes up that whole table.
Wow.
Now I'm going to save this picture and send it to myself. And that way...
National Talk Like a Pirate Day yet.
What?
It's not National Talk Like a Pirate Day yet. Although if there is on a Friday, could you talk like a pirate for most of the stream?
I don't think I have the ability, sweetheart.
Our German Timbers. I don't know what that is.
Alright guys, you guys ready to see Gamecraft Dragon's pile of shame? We are going to come over here. We're going to clicky this button. We are going to be looking at ourselves, apparently.
telling yourself how beautiful.
That's not how that was supposed to go. This is Inception. Oh, there we go. So there we are, checking out Gamecraft Dragon's Pile of Shame. Control and zoom in a little bit. Nope. It does not want to zoom in. But you can see we've got tubs upon tubs upon tubs taking up this table here. And by the way, this isn't just his pile of shame. This is his goal for the Midwinter Minis Challenge. So if you guys haven't checked it out, go over and check out Midwinter Minis. But there is a challenge to see how much you can paint up in, not as in quality, but like in our ability to stay connected. Okay, reconnection successful. Back to here. Go back to paint and chill. That is an incredible target, my brother. Incredible target. Oh, there he goes. He posted it in chat. Whew. Yes, that was before he painted 115 models. He is planning on doing even more in this 7-day stretch. So he said he's going to, and I love this. So his phrase was, and this is going to be part of our 100% true Elstination fact this week. He said he is going to caffeinate up and Elstination this shit. So we actually looked up some language. Babe.
Yeah.
A linguist, a language scientist, was a linguist, or an extra sciencey version, so promoted to a linguitologist. That's right. We had our special researchers, the linguitologists, actually look this up, and it has actually started becoming an actual word in the English language. It's amazing. So you can actually check it out. It's become a verb, to Elstination something. What does it mean to Elstination something, you might ask? What might it mean indeed? However, what our linguitologists have decided is that it is completing something in a way that completely defies the laws of time and an equality that makes people weep from the sheer beauty of the art. That is the verb to Elstination something. What are your guys' thoughts?
I like how you said they just looked it up. Oh, these professional scientists, they just looked it up. Like our everyday Google.
They scienced it, okay? They added some more science to their science. Archer says, yeah, I'm trying to Elstination these Blood Angel successors right now. You make people weep for the beauty that they see before them. They're tears of joy, my friend. Tears of joy. So,
That's just
I want you guys, whenever you guys go do something this weekend, I want you to paint up something in a good time frame with good quality, and I want you to hashtag it Elstination it this weekend. Let's see if we can get that going. Elstination it. Or hashtag Elstination as a verb. So, working on 1,500 points of Stormcast this weekend. Elstination this shit. Hashtag Elstination as a verb. I like it. I need some reaction videos of that. Just sprayed water through an airbrush for the first time. Wipes tear from an eye. Dude, that's awesome.
What did you draw?
You know what? I probably don't want to know right now.
Oh, I see paint on the floor.
There are paints. Oh, that's my water bottle.
I'm
I'm a hashtag as well. That's absolutely. I really want to see this, guys. If you guys, I know a lot of us hang out on the Facebooks and the Instagrams. I want to see it Elstination as a verb this weekend. Hashtag Elstination as a verb.
Next week, Elstination as an adjective.
Spoilers! Spoilers! Next week, Elstination as an adjective. Oh my god, this paint job. It's so Elstination.
There you go.
From what does it mean?
Okay, spoilers. We can't give it all away. Elstination the verb. Elstination the noun. Elstination the flamethrower.
Just
I don't-
fireball.
I don't know if we can have Elstination as a flamethrower. Elstination is one of the most chill people I've ever seen. Like, one of the most chill personalities I've seen online so far. Wow, we have modeling for advantage. Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Guys, again, modeling for advantage has done some really, really awesome updates these last couple weeks. I think they're on week 4 of their hobby updates, doing them in a new format. And they get the different members of their team involved, people that they play with frequently, their friends. They shout out a YouTuber every week, and they have such great chemistry, guys. Please, please, please go check out the hobby updates over on Modeling for Advantage, because it is just such a great show. I mean, you've got comedy in there. You've got some really great painted models, some demon princes that have been absolutely converted in an extremely awesome way. I mean, it's just, you know what, like, they have really been Elstinationing that show. The Restless Kaiser. So definitely check out their show. I mean, not only, of course, have they had amazing quality content, there's even underpants you can win on that show. So, I mean, check them out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Gamecraft Dragon is close on my tail becoming a verb. Great channel. Go watch the D commands. And everybody has to listen to the D. I mean, I think a lot of people already think with it anyways. The big D commands it. All right, so what are we working on next with this guy? We are next going to take a piece of pluck foam
With a
pluck foam sponge.
With a bunch of commander hair on it, and we're gonna burn our mouth.
Yes. All right, so the next thing I'm doing, again, guys, this is by no means a tutorial. This is just what I'm doing. And go back here to my OBS screen so I can see that I'm on camera. Just taking some Riser Rust, dabbing it on.
No. Oh, my soul. Becky, help.
And of course, just making these rusty weapons even rustier. And I don't, again, I'm going to be painting over this. This is just my underlayer, so I don't mind that it's coming out a little extra bright, because it's going to be a grimy undercoat. Whoop. Grab that commander hair. It's just going to be the grimy undercoat for my rusty weapons anyways. I'm going to go back and paint these with silver and wash it down with some known oil, and it won't be nearly as bright when we're done with it all.
Did you prevent the heads, like, in there for the drawing?
Mm-hmm.
We decorate our paint into with heads.
You see it? My daughter's tripping out because I've got a Def Copta head on one of my pots of Vallejo paint.
Now I know whenever I'm older and have paints, I'm just gonna put heads on my paint, on the caps of the paint.
It was easier to airbrush with using that paint bottle as a handle. Oop.
Do not do this to each other, please. Behave yourselves.
It's not looking too bad. again, I like that this riser rust has a little texture to it. I never actually ever apply it on smoothly because I want that little bit of extra texture, that little pitted bit of rust coming in from underneath.
Oh, there it is. Did you use this sponge for like the weathering on here?
That I did with some powders instead.
Oh, it's like
So that was a different
I
technique.
accidentally spilled a tiny
Yeah.
bit
Yeah,
last week.
the powders you spilled into my keyboard. Yeah, a little bit. No big deal, though. No big deal.
What's this liquid copper for?
All right, so,
The liquid copper?
for when I'm painting metal copper.
Oh.
All right, so if you don't think with your D, the D will think for you. There you go. I need that on a T-shirt.
New merch coming out soon.
I would happily give up speed for your detail, Elstonation. Seriously, you are a badass painter. That he is. That he is. I would love to be able to do what Elstonation does with an airbrush. Perhaps if I imbibe the beard, like Zane keeps saying. I even looked up from what I was doing to see if you would do that. Decorated pants. So, Mythos, did you get your Ragnar yet? Why, yes, I did, mon frere. Yes, I did. What did I do? There he goes. Last Saturday, I got my box.
Wait, they can't
And
see.
I put it to... Yeah, got a camera right here.
Oh, yeah.
So, I got my box last Saturday, and I took a little poll from the chat earlier, and the consensus from the chat said, paint the... I had one vote to go ahead and paint some Space Wolves, but my other votes said to paint my orcs first and treat myself at the end to my Ragnar. So, seems like... Oh, I'm sorry, I had two votes for the Wolves first. The Ragnar first. Oh yeah!
No.
Really, really excited.
How Otis would do it.
No, that was Kool-Aid Man. Otis would be more like, oh yeah. Now this isn't as random as doing it with a sponge. However, I do want to be a little more careful here than all the other places I've done. All right. So now we have some nice, properly rusty weapons. This,
May I see?
one second. Let me just dab off some of this extra.
I want to say, you quote that from Jack one time whenever he did all that. I don't remember when.
You shouldn't be watching Jack. You're not old enough.
No, like whenever you all men quote stuff.
Oh, I nearly forgot this awesome shoulder pad here. And from doing the other one, I've got another one of these spiky shoulder pads on one of the orcs I already painted up. And I really like this spiky shoulder pad done as rusty metal too. So we're going to go a little bit crazy with the rust here. Ooh, went a little too crazy, but that's alright. We can just sponge up some of that excess. The Pale Orc. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. Okay, reconnection successful.
That singing that little song helped.
It's not looking too bad, guys. It's not looking too bad. I did not get an orc fully painted on this stream. But I didn't think that was a realistic target anyways. But we did get a good solid base coat and got our colors all blocked in. Got the skin all airbrushed and highlighted up. And it's not not too bad. Oh, it's all blurry though. Jesus. Phoebus. Yeah. And it actually, for some reason, my color balance is just not representing that skin well. So after the stream, guys, I will take some pictures and put it up on the Instagrams and the Facebooks, and you'll see how the skin actually has come out, because that color balance is just not doing it justice. Not that it's coming out amazing or anything. I mean, I've not Elstonationed it, but it's coming along pretty well. Sure. It's dry. You can touch it. Did you end up doing the Art of the Week on that Mecha Dread? All right, so there's a reason why I am here on my own, doing the stream. Usual person who runs the stream, my brother Freakaliciousness, is out due to some unfortunate health things today, and so I'm running the stream by myself. I am not yet very good at the transitioning things and trying to get some. We have put up a couple of pictures so far. Let me see if I can get that up here for you real quick.
I'm so confused how these grew to were mushrooms, and then
It's not that they are real mushrooms, baby. So they come from spores like a mushroom. They reproduce like plants. You know, so a lot of people call them mushrooms.
Oh.
I know it's confusing, but
That's why they're green.
all right, trying to send myself these pics. These pics.
The musical.
I'm going to send that one because lol. All right. Again, if these, I'm going to try and show these, but again, I don't normally run this part of the chat, so if these don't pull up right, I apologize, but I should be okay here. Nope. Nope.
What was
Okay,
that about?
I'm going to start with that one. All right. So I'm starting off with this one. I just wanted to show you guys. This was one of Freak's save rolls. This is what I was telling you about the long line of ones. Even in Tabletop Simulator, my poor brother Freak cannot get away from the ones. My poor brother. All right, next. All right, please tell me that's showing. Aha! Looks like okay. The pictures, for some reason, they've come out of order. So apparently we're starting with some of the detail pictures, and then I guess you guys will see the whole thing. Now check this out. The Pale Orc, again, incredible YouTube channel, and he's got a whole showcase. Go check out his YouTube channel. Go check out his Instagram account. Check him. You can check him out on Facebook, and he posts a lot in the 40K Orcs community. Probably butchering that. Pale Orc will correct me though. But you can check out his amazing work everywhere. But check out this scratch-built Dread, guys. He said this basically cost him nothing other than some parts he had on hand, and a lot of it he scratch-built. I say it all the time, almost every week when we're showing his stuff. This guy has a gift for scratch building. I mean, you look at that top right there, and that looks like the top hole to an Imperial Knight. This is just incredible. And look at all the extra studs and rivets and checkerboard patterns. I mean, this guy got the details, and the details really help sell the business. All right, so this here, you can see its arms are all magnetized. They all come off. He's got switchable options here. If you guys have any questions from the Pale Orc and want to know how he accomplished any of that, or anything specific you want to ask him questions on, you know, regarding this build, let him know in the chat below. I'm sure he'll be happy to share with the fam. I believe that's a Def Dread, so just checking out the size and compared to a GW Def Dread. I believe. I could be wrong. Now, guys, I'm a brand new Orc player, so I don't know any of the names yet. Please forgive me. But this is the Gatling cannon version of the thing. Check that out. This is a great big chain fist looking thing over here. The spinny blades, very professionally. This is his custom force field back here. I love the way he did like the coil, Tesla style coils here. And actually did some art for the electricity coming back and forth. That is just amazingly cool. I wish I could zoom in more, guys. Unfortunately, I don't know how Freak usually tweaks it, and it's got that zoomed out look to it. I know. Can I? Nope. Go back. I tried zooming in with the scroll wheel, and it just keeps resizing over and over again, and somehow zooming in makes it smaller. I don't know.
I see here some AI.
Go ahead. So, oh, you hit my.
Did I hit anything?
Yeah, you hit the keyboard.
Sorry.
It's all good. You can see the extra gears. Again, the extra gears, the details really sell this thing. The gears in here, like you can see some of the clockwork, some of that steampunkiness on how it works in there. I love the tusks here. Really awesome stuff. Again, the checkerboards, the rivets, the details really sell this baby. And look at it. It looks brutish and squattish. You would never guess, looking at this thing, that these big, massive honking shoulders are Easter eggs, plastic Easter eggs, that he has turned into scrap for this amazing Mega Dread type project. Again, I don't know my words yet, guys. Look at this spinny fist here.
That looks sick.
Right? Another shot of the custom force field. A big old, it looks like a battle cannon. I know it's not an Imperial Knight, but it looks like a battle cannon. That right there. That's, I think, that pose of it all together is that big, beefy pose. Just, it's my favorite view right there. And I think that build with the little spinny fist and the Gatling gun. By the way, those are straws from McDonald's he has. Isn't that incredible? Turned it into a Gatling cannon. That is just such a badass build. Just with the force field, the Gatling cannon, the little chain fist thing. I mean, it's such an imposing figure to look at. It's just it's badass. It's intimidating.
I have a question for the Pale Orc.
What's that?
So how many layers do you put on the paints?
Oh, how many layers
Because,
of paint did you use?
With the orange on there, you can't tell that it was from a McDonald's. Old. I thought it was made from like a Nerf gun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it definitely doesn't look like a bundle of straws, does it? It looks like a pretty badass Gatling cannon. But you're right. It's got almost like a look like a Gatling cannon you might see from Nerf. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. It's definitely applying for a visa to visit the Elsta Nation. Oh, it's great your kid has an interest in YouTube. Mine, the nerdling, just swipes me off immediately when he sees me on YouTube. Yeah, she's really been interested. I want to show off again. Well, I'll show off in a minute. Let me catch up on the chat and I'll show off. She's been interested. The kiddos painted up their first Space Marines last week. Well, I mean, they started on it. We're going to work on them again this weekend. And on Saturdays when we do our hobby hangouts with some of our patrons, they've jumped in the chat and they've been asking questions about what we're painting and stuff like that. So especially the oldest one here, Star's really been interested lately, and I'm loving her enthusiasm. The both of them have already painted up their first D&D model. We haven't actually sat down for a session yet, but they've both painted up their first D&D model. It's really been fun to see them get involved and that they enjoy painting and stuff. You asked about the Gatling cannon, sweetheart, and he says the Gatling cannon is lead belcher, so it's this silvery paint right here, plus brass scorpion, which is a kind of a bronzy gold color, and a wash. So nice.
That's pretty cool.
Well, she says you definitely changed the texture of it and made it not look like plastic straws. So that's really awesome. Freak needs a house rule where he can convert 6s to 1s to a 6 roll. Nice. 6 1s to a 6 roll. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so this is her rogue character for D&D.
Remember?
Please pardon the commander here. Oh, right. So it would help if I actually changed the camera back to the camera. All right. You guys had a little OBS inception there for a minute. So this is her rogue character. You can see she's done a good job with the leathers. She even got in there. She painted the face with the flesh tone and some Reichland flesh shade in there. The hair, the metallics on the daggers. And check this out. She even, and it might be hard to see in the stream, but she went for a two-tone in the cape. So she went for a black cape and then she highlighted it to a lighter or a dark blue color. And it kind of gives it like a spot of color kind of coming in. So that was really cool. So that is her D&D character. And then both of the girls started on their first Space Marines this past weekend. So my youngest, Cheetah, did the red. And both of them, I had them both start with the darker color. So Cheetah, my youngest, started with a corn red, and she worked her way up to a nice bright Mephiston, and then Evil Sun Scarlet.
How do you remember the names?
Just using them a lot, sweetheart. So you can see some of that darker color in the recesses, like here, and it comes up to a nice bright Evil Suns here. And then my older daughter, she started from the Fang blue and she highlighted up to Temple Guard blue, and you can see she's even doing working in multiple thin layers. So you can see a gradient there from the shoulder pad with the darker Fang color in the recesses, and then the brighter bulk of it is that Temple Guard blue. And I love that she's got the shading in the shoulders and stuff like that. That was pretty awesome. You can see the recess there being the darker color as well. Around the thighs, you can see she left kind of the darker colors, and as it goes down more into the light, she's got the Temple Guard blue. So really proud of both of the kiddos. They're both doing really well.
That both of the swords we use is the same one that's hanging on the wall over there.
Oh yeah. The chainsword is the iconic Space Marine weapon, so that's why Daddy's got one hanging on the wall behind him, and you've got each got blah, 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 blah. You've each got one on your Space Marines. All right, so you got some kudos here. Very well done from Mini Warmutt. Sorry, gents, I'm falling asleep. Good chatting with a lot of you. Very well painted rogue, though. So kudos from Atlas.
Thank you.
Have a great night, my brother. Thank you for dropping by and joining us. So yeah, the kiddos have been pretty interested in what we do lately. Like I said, the kiddos even been involved on the YouTube. In fact, she said she wants to grow up to be a YouTuber.
And Twitcher, for extra good stuff.
And Twitcher, apparently. You have a chainsword hanging on the wall? Indeed I do, and I'm going to mess this all kinds of up. I apologize. But if I tilt the camera back some, you're going to see my other camera. Okay, let's move this camera. This is so unprofessional. I apologize, guys. All right, so we're going to move this camera. We're going to tilt up above Mia there. And we're going to move the microphone up. And we're going to move the other camera. We're going to mess everything up. And you can just see it overhead by my Anemia calendar, my chainsword. All right, so. Now we're going to try and oops, sorry guys, sorry about that. Try and gently move everything back into place.
Here's your vision.
Wow, that sounded like you said a bad word there. So yeah, that is my chain sword. All right, guys, don't forget that we are going to try and I really if sorry to make you mess it up. That's awesome. No, I really enjoy it, man. Absolutely, I enjoy when people ask about it. Guys, don't forget this weekend. I want you each to do something on social media. When you guys paint something up or something like that, or any achievement ever. Ooh, sorry about the noise. I know every time I move the microphone, it makes a bad noise. Whenever you guys do something awesome this weekend, I want you to use the hashtag Elstonation as a verb this weekend on your Facebooks and your Instagrams and stuff like that. I can't wait to see it. Feel free to tag me in those Instagram posts and Facebook stuff like that too, so I can see it. That would be really cool. See if we can get that going. Elstonation as a verb. All right, guys. So that brings us up just a little bit past 11, and I think we are going to call it a night here, fam. But I didn't get through the whole orc, but I feel like I really made a nice big start on this boy. Got all the colors blocked in, got the details highlighting the skin, got the details on the rust. So we've made some good progress. Like I said, this is all going to get a dry brush of silver later on, and then matted down with some Nuln Oil, and there'll be some nice, rusty looking orc weapons. And after that, man, it'll just be hitting the teeth, hitting the eyes, and the leather on the pouches and boots, and this guy will be ready to join his brothers. So really, really stoked you guys joined me tonight and knock out the bulk of this orc here. This will actually make number 11. So if I add 11, I think I was at 33 earlier for the year. So when I base this guy and his 10 brothers up tomorrow, then I will actually be sitting at a nice, pretty 44 for the year. So that's going to be a nice little boost. And now I'll only be like 100 behind Gamecraft Dragon. So, that'll be cool. I'm going to fire up my stream and try and get a model painted up tonight. Have a good night. Awesome, guys. Feel free to jump over from this stream over to Redbeard Boss's live stream. In fact, if I could get several of you fam to jump over to Redbeard Boss's stream, that would be great. Show him some love and support. Let him know that Frost and Fist sent you. You want to jump in here and say goodnight with me, little kiddo?
Okay.
You know how I say my goodnights, right?
Of course I do.
Okay, I want you to shake my fist when we do the
Oh, I could just stand.
yeah, come on over here. All right. First of all, we're going to say thank you to the people. By the way, some of you may not have been here when I mentioned earlier, my compressor for my airbrush died this week. And, a little closer, over here.
Oh. Ah,
there you go.
hi.
So my airbrush died this week, the compressor did, and because of our Patreon support, I was able to get a new airbrush compressor right away. So really thank you guys. We appreciate everyone who joins the stream, chats in the chat, smashes that like button. But of course, we really appreciate our Patreons as well. And our patron support, like I said, helps us out all the time. The fact that I didn't have to stop what I was doing painting because our patrons helped us get a new airbrush compressor right away was super, super big for me, and really appreciate you guys. Much love to you guys. So again, this is your warning, guys. If you're listening in earbuds or anything, or if you just got the volume up, you may want to lower the volume or pull me out of the earplugs because I get a little excited about this. But I am going to thank my patrons real quick, and I'm going to start off by thanking Bloodclaw, Heinrich, Bartha.
Bartha, it has soda? I don't know.
Bloodclaw, Running Bear. Bloodclaw, Richard over at The Nerd Life. Bloodclaw, Big Mac Danskull. Bloodclaw, Brian the Mini Warmutt. Bloodclaw, Big D at the Gamecraft Dragon. Bloodclaw, Chief Live Gaming, Bloodclaw, Inquisitor Zane, Grey Hunter, Brother Roxas, Grey Hunter, Zack the Crimson Painter, Wolfguard, Kalo.
You forgot about the pants part.
We're gonna leave the pants part out for that.
Sweetheart, no.
Wolfguard, Commodore. Then we have the incredibly mysterious, yet looming and threatening Wolf Lord Anonymous. We have the man that single-handedly stopped the attack on Fenris by the Thousand Suns. We have the ultimate Wolf Lord Meeks. And finally, we have brand new, graduating from a Wolf Guard to a Wolf Lord, appointed by the High King of Fenris himself. We have the ultimate Wolf Lord Archer!
Or woohoo, I'm supposed to sound like a gorilla. I don't know if I sound like a gorilla.
Thank you guys so much for your support. Like I said, we appreciate the support on Patreon. We support all the chat support here in the chat and on the channel. We appreciate and love all of you guys. Thank you all so much. Thanks, Mito's great stream. Lots of proud dab moments. I guess I have a soda now? Thanks, I guess? Yeah, I don't know where she was going with that, my brother. I'm sorry.
I feel like that's a question you should ask me. What are you doing? What's happening?
You all have a great and safe weekend. Thank you, Mini Warmut. Guys, go check out Redbeard Boss's stream. Really would love for you guys to go show him some love. If you guys enjoyed tonight's channel, then make sure you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get you on camera.
Yes, I'm
Come
on
back
camera.
over.
Yes, I'm on camera.
Make sure that you grab up an axe and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor.
Oh, I'm
Drop
sorry.
us some comments down below. Feel free to be part of any of these ridiculous conversations tonight. And if you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel, then Freak and I, and of course Star here, would love to have you as part of the pack here on the Frost and Fizz. Until next time, guys.